Hey guys, we have Coach Payton here. He's ready to roll. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, Coach,
Hello?
we got
Hey,
you.
Coach.
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Two scoring drives yesterday of at least 8 minutes, and I think just one 3-and-out. What did you see that was working well there, and is that a formula or transferable to the upcoming weeks?
I would say this, and I just finished talking about this with our team. It's a bit unusual in that it's rare both teams end up with just 6 possessions. In other words, points then become at a premium. Generally speaking, you're between 10 and 12 possessions a game. So part of it was a result of both teams having long, sustained drives. Overcoming some third downs, maybe some penalties that keep drives moving. But it was a little unusual that way. Obviously, the thing offensively that maybe stood out is there weren't any explosives. I mean, we had a couple plays that would measure into the explosive category, but it was unique that way in a game where you didn't have the same amount of possessions you were used to, and then the margins quickly shift. So if you told me we were going to win the turnover battle, we were going to win the rushing battle against that team, I would have been real happy and said that more than likely we were going to win the game, but it wasn't the case.
Go for it, Darren.
Hey, Coach, how would you evaluate how your players bounced back yesterday when things weren't going well, and what are your expectations for this week?
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought there was grit, toughness. I thought, we battled hard, all of those things. And yet it's disappointing you don't come away with the win. My expectations this week are, we're back at it. We're back to work. And we get ready to play another home game and an important game for us.
Go ahead, Parker.
Hey, Sean, first, I just wanted to confirm Caden Stearns, there's a report out there that his injury is serious. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, listen, we'll update you at the right time. We know he's taking an MRI right now. Greg's getting an MRI right now. So I'm not going to be early with any injury news or updates.
Got it. And then on the lack of explosives offensively, is part of that just because of the way the game went, or what goes into sort of creating more of those, especially when you don't have Jerry or Greg on the field?
Yeah, I would say 2 things. Certainly you miss Jerry and you miss Greg, and that the other thing, we got a lot more soft zone coverage. And so, to Russ's credit, the ball came down underneath a number of times when it needed to. And so it just, it's that back and forth. You're waiting for the down safety looks. You're waiting for the opportunities that maybe provide you those chances down the field. But I would say a little bit more shell than expected, and force the throws to come underneath.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Coach. Drew Sanders, he didn't play a defensive snap. Can you just talk about, I guess, rookies? Is it an assignment type thing that what does he have to do to earn the trust of the coaches to get on the field defensively?
Yeah, look, he's got the trust of the coaches. Part of it's just finding the packages and the snaps to play. Both Josie and Alex played well. We'll constantly look at our personnel and see ways where guys can help us, not only in the kicking game, and he played in the kicking game, obviously, in all 4 phases, but also in offense and defense. So it's not a trust issue.
Go ahead, Troy.
Coach, when you looked at the film, I mean, you guys didn't get a sack on Jimmy Garoppolo. Was it a byproduct of the quick release, and how much of an emphasis it is to get better pressure on the quarterback moving forward?
Well, look, we're all for pressure, and obviously it's an important stat line in our league when it comes to hurrying these quarterbacks. The ball does come out quick with Jimmy, and it comes out quick, I think, route design wise. So it's one thing to say a quarterback gets rid of it quick, but there are certain teams that are going to hold the ball longer than others. we'll constantly evaluate, hey, how are we rushing this player at quarterback, and then how can we be better at it? But we knew that it was going to be a ball out fast offense. His rhythm, all those years in San Francisco, he was always someone that had low sack totals. So how do we disrupt then the passing game? We disrupted at the line of scrimmage with the receivers. We disrupted possibly with batted down balls. And then we disrupted with hurries and sacks. So obviously that's something we pay attention to.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Sean, I was just curious, as you were talking about the shell coverage, you had 17 completions to running backs and tight ends. Did you like that decision-making? And do you think other folks may give you a little more shell moving forward then?
Well, look, I was pleased with the decision-making, and the key is, being able to run the ball and have the sustained success. We were able to do that at times. So, yeah, I mean, part of that where the ball went was a byproduct of what we were seeing. So, yeah, teams will be in and out of different coverage looks. We were the same way defensively.
Go ahead, Zach.
Coach, 10 penalties for over 80 yards. How much did that impact the game, and how do you fix that moving forward?
Yeah, look, both teams had 10 penalties. Too much for our liking. Obviously, we had 6 on defense, and then 2 and 2 special teams and offense. So, and I would say, look, when you watch them all, there's 2 or 3 that that you're not going to lose sleep over relative to what your player's doing. But certainly the pre-snap fouls, and then being smart and understanding how the game's being officiated relative to personal fouls or roughing, that falls on us. And it's something we got to be better at.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Coach, some of the players said after yesterday's game that the team still needs to learn how to win, learn how to finish, and that sort of thing. What are your thoughts on that process as they adjust to the new regime under you?
Yeah, look, that's part of it. I think that, that comes with, like anything else, you guys heard me talk about confidence. You win a tough, close game, then pretty soon you get used to winning close games. I told them afterwards, we're going to play our league. Most of these games finish within a touchdown of each other. And so, those are just the facts in our league. But when you get into the fourth quarter, we watch the end of all these games. Somebody's in a 2-minute to win, or somebody's defending a 2-minute to win. So I think that, it's important. It is what it is, but it's important to understand that we're going to be in a lot of these close games, and the fine line of winning and losing is critical. Penalties come into it, big plays, all these things. And the game yesterday was unique in that it was a low-scoring game with not a lot of possessions. Obviously, the margins changed when that happens. And then understanding, Bill used to be fantastic at always talking about how do we win this game. And so sometimes they don't start out or finish the way you expect, but as you're adjusting and as you're seeing the type of game that's being played, understanding how to win that one. And so does that come from experience? Yes. Is it a prerequisite that you have an experienced team? No. And so our next opportunity is this week against Washington.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Sean, what did the film show as far as how you guys looked in pass protection and run blocking?
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. I thought there were 2 or 3 clips where in the running game specifically, we don't get the mic ID'd the correct way. And so we're pushing maybe in a direction where we should be pushing to another. That has to get cleaned up. I thought overall our protection downs were solid, were good. I thought we did a good job when we did leave the pocket. We had some scramble drill touchdowns. Overall, that would be my assessment. One last question.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, sorry, Coach. I was just going to ask about the pass rush. I know you said Jimmy gets the ball out quick, but I guess what can you do to maybe just generate more pressure?
Well, look, there's 2 things. You win your one-on-ones or you bring more people. So you dog or blitz, or you win your one-on-ones, and a lot of it is dependent upon what you're wanting to do coverage-wise within the framework of a scheme. There are times sometimes where you want to keep the quarterback in the pocket and play a certain coverage. A lot of it is dependent on your game plan. All right, guys, thanks.